Hey Midwest Conference fans, I'm Paityn Tabor here on Midwest Conference Media Day. Today I'm joined with head coach of Grinnell College, Brent. Coach, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me.
Appreciate being here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My first question for you. So last year you and your guys finished 2-6 overall, but as we both know, oftentimes the record doesn't reflect all of the high points that a season might bring. So I'm just kind of curious, could you talk to me a little bit about some of the highlights from your season last year?
Yeah, I think as most Midwest Conference fans know, we have struggled at certain points. We are rebuilding the program, and I thought we made some good strides last year, particularly on defense. Won 2 games in a row. The first time we've had a winning record after September. First time, I don't know when, but certainly since the last decade. So those were certainly positives, and we return a lot of starters, a lot of talent from last year's team, and feel good about going into this season.
Yeah. What was your focus this offseason to help your team take that next step forward?
I think a lot of it is developing what we already had on campus. We had a nice recruiting class, and they're certainly going to help us as they get to campus here in a week or so. But it was really developing the players that we had that were freshmen and sophomores. And I think for the first time since I've been here, we have some legitimate upperclassmen who played 15, 20 games or whatnot. That hasn't happened in this program in half a decade.
Mm-hmm. You talk about some players, taking that next step for you guys. Could you talk to me about a couple of those players on offense and defense that you're looking forward to watching them take that next step to help you guys be successful?
Yeah, absolutely. Grayson Woodhouse is our 2-year starting quarterback. He comes back for his senior season. I think he's ready to take another step, another leap forward in his game. Nick Reinhardt, Garrett Wilson, 2 receivers for us who are, again, now upperclassmen, now juniors. With regards to that, I expect them to be improved. Danny Court coming back at running back. So, again, a lot of our offensive skill guys coming back, and they've done what they need to do in the weight room, in spring ball, and, I certainly hope over the summer to be ready to go. Defensively, Travis Chu, our nose tackle, is an excellent player. TJ Lawrence, elected captain, one of our defensive ends. Again, looking forward to them taking another step. We lost a few linebackers, but love what we have coming back. Keaton Fitzgerald is an excellent player that we expect to be an impact player for us as we go. Tim Johnson does return one of our inside linebackers position, and our 2-year captain now, Hugh, is coming back, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do as well.
And you talked about a lot of guys that they're now transitioning into that upperclassman role, and you talked a lot about their impact that's going to be happening on the field, but off of the field, do you expect maybe some of those leadership traits to come out a little bit more to help your team be even more successful?
I think so. This is the first year we've had that there hasn't been a player on the team who remembers the 2019 season. And I think because of that, there's been a slow culture shift over the last few years, and I think it's accelerating here in 2023. And that, I think, as coaches, I know we are really, really looking forward to it, and I think our players are as well. I think there's just better commitment in the program to where football is important to you. And not to say those other guys didn't, but just some things made that a lot more difficult for them.
Yeah. Who's a player on your team that maybe we don't know by name or by stat, but that you see making a big difference this year?
That's a good question. Tyrell Taylor is a very, very good offensive lineman, and I think the other coaches of the conference would agree with that. Again, as O-line, you kind of fall under the radar, just the nature of our sport. His commitment in a lot of ways has dramatically improved. Really over the last 3 months, I think he can have an excellent year and be a potential all-conference player for us.
Yeah. Coach, you're welcoming a much bigger roster this year than in the past. So tell me a little bit about how you went about growing that roster and what that's going to do for your team.
Yeah, it's a good question, and we could talk all day about how we recruit with regards to that. But I would say the biggest thing for us is we've changed a little bit of what we do recruiting-wise. We're a national roster. We have very few kids from Iowa, for what it's worth. And because of that, we recruit probably a little bit differently than most of the rest of the league. Chicago's probably the most similar in that respect. So it's just with this national recruiting, it's a focus on getting kids to visit. It's a focus on understanding the academic nature of the institution and what we're looking for, and getting kids to buy into the chance. Hey, you come here now and you can get on the field immediately. There isn't, we don't have a roster of 115. We have a roster of 125. You can come here now and play very quickly. That message is getting through to a lot of players and a lot of good players.
Yeah. you talk about recruiting, and as you're entering your third year as head coach and your fourth year with the program, all of the players on your team are now your recruits. So does that make a difference to you in your mentality as you approach the season?
I think so. It gets back to a little bit what I said before, just with, there's no one here that remembers 2019. And that's such a dividing line for our program that is now finally kind of in our past. And we can start to create our own future, I guess is how I would say it, our own image of what we're trying to do. So, yeah, it's a big deal. And I think there's a lot of excitement with our kids coming back. And I think some of it is just, hey, the past is now in the past officially, and we can start to move forward from here.
Absolutely. You also have a new defensive coordinator this year, and it's your first coordinator change as head coach. Tell me about how you went about that process of finding a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, actually, we hired in-house Coach Blaylock, who was our defensive line coach. I promoted when Coach Martinez moved on to Simpson. I expect we'll do some similar stuff with regards to that, and it wasn't very difficult to take what I think is my best football coach and put him in this coordinator position.
Last question I have for you today, Coach. It's actually from Frank Rossi, who's co-host of the podcast D3 Football in the Huddle. So he says, obviously the story of Grinnell since 2019 has been one of many highs and lows, with a team that has had to end their season prematurely in 2019, but still able to win 4 games in the last 2 seasons. So how special is this year's group of seniors for you, especially the guys who stuck with the program throughout all of the adversity you faced? And what role do you see them playing this season to put their final imprint on the future of Grinnell football?
Yeah, the seniors will always hold a special place in my heart for a variety of reasons. They not only they committed to us during 2019 when the season got canceled. They didn't come onto campus until their second semester freshman year because we didn't have school on campus the first semester. So their introduction to just college, much less college football, has been completely different than just about anyone else in the country. The fact that group has mostly stuck it out, survived, as you said, the highs and lows is what's explained, leads me to believe it's a pretty special group. There's a lot of leadership in that group that's excellent as well, that I look forward to finally getting a chance to come to the forefront. It's their team now, and I think they're looking forward to it being their team.
Well, that's all I have for you today, Coach. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Paityn.
Best of luck this season.
Thank you.